So I heard we had some new name knee pads in our storage. I ended up picking them up, and I figured, what kind of build can I run with this? Well, have you heard of the one-shot hotshot build? It just got a little bit better, especially if you like running snipers, marksman rifles. This is going to be a build that you're going to enjoy. The build-up takes a second, but once you get it going, 20 million and 19 million, as you guys are seeing on this build here, 20 million, 19 million. That means one enemy's taking 20 million, the other one's taking 19 million. I mean, that's enough to drop almost anything on heroic, right? So look at that, 22 million, 20 million, 22 million, 20 million. We're literally taking out 2 enemies at once. And that's why I tell you guys, one bullet taking out 2 enemies might be the new trend for sniper rifles, especially if you guys like running hotshot builds. And this is the one build that I think these knee pads are going to excel in, if not just be as good as the one-shot hotshot build. Yes, the hotshot build has some cool stats, but when you can drop 2 enemies shooting 1 enemy, who doesn't like doing that? Yes, this build is that build right there. Now, some of you guys might say, yo, Skills, I do not like that scope. Don't worry, I'm gonna be showing you some gameplay in just a second with me using the no scope, and you can do the same thing. You lose 35% headshot damage, but you're still able to one-shot enemies. But if you like using the scope, look at this. Just pretty insane. We just dropped everybody. The boss died so fast, I didn't even get to see his name. And for all of you guys saying, yo, what about a no scope? Well, here you guys go. You're still able to drop these guys. So if you guys do not want to use the scope that scopes you in, you'll still be able to put out these guys faster than they're able to rush you. And being able to take out 2 enemies at once is less bullets you're having to shoot. So it's the one build that can actually be improved by running these knee pads. And hopefully you guys are seeing this and you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll try a sniper build. If you guys don't like sniper builds, try using the no scope. I think it'll probably help you guys out. And look, we just have the boss left. And if we could just land this shot, there we go. He's done. And boom, he's done too. So you guys want to see it? Let's get into the build. We are using the new Turmoil knee pads, and the reason why we are using this is because of Bewildered. What this is going to allow us to do is to technically get 2 kills with 1 bullet once we build up our stack, right? So I'll show you guys how that all works. We are running a 1-piece, but we have a 2-piece. I'll show you the backpack in a second. That gives us 8% critical chance. The 20% hazard protection does not matter on this build. It does have weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage. When dealing weapon damage to any enemy, 50% of that damage will be dealt to another enemy within 30 meters. That's why, since you hit so hard with a one-shot sniper build, you'll still be able to kill the other enemy even with your damage coming down 50%. So when there are no enemies nearby, well, you'll deal damage normally, so that means you'll hit max damage. This does not apply to armor plates. For the backpack, we are running the Ninja Bike Messenger Bag. That's going to allow us to unlock the 2-piece and the 3-piece set from gear sets and brand sets, depending on how many pieces we have on, right? We have weapon damage, armor, and skill tier on here, and then we have a headshot damage mod. So for our mask, we are running the HG mask, which is going to give us 13% headshot damage plus 20% marksman rifle damage just from running 1 piece because of the Ninja Bike. We have weapon damage on here, crit chance, headshot damage, and headshot damage mod. Again, this is kind of the rolls you want on any of the gold pieces that we have on the build. Ideally, this is what you want because if you can have a little bit more crit chance, that could be that chance that you hit those crit damage numbers. For the chest piece, we're running the chain killer chest piece. This is going to give us 5% weapon damage, 5% damage to armor. Weapon damage on here, we have headshot damage, weapon handling. I would like to have crit chance here, and then we have a headshot damage mod. So ideally, this is what you want. We're getting additional 5% weapon damage and 5% damage to armor on the build. For the holster, we're running the hot shot. We actually have 2 pieces, which unlocks the 3-piece. We have 30% marksman rifle, 30% weapon handling, and we get 30% headshot damage. So this is actually really good for this build, and ideally how you guys want to spec this build. For our second piece of the hot shot, it's going to be the knee pads. We have weapon damage, headshot damage. For the weapon, we are running the SR1 replica. This has 1.2 million damage, 60 RPM, 10 in the magazine. Now we do have 20% expertise on this one. We have marksman rifle, headshot damage, damage targets out of cover. Then we have determined, obviously this is why this weapon is so good with this, because after killing an enemy with the headshot, the next shot landed on any enemy a guaranteed headshot. You pair this up with Headhunter, and boom, you're doing some crazy work. So we are running the optics rail that gives us a digital scope of 45% headshot damage. It does give us a little negative 5% of critical damage, but we'll be okay with that. And then for the underbarrel, 5% crit chance and 5% crit chance on the muzzle brake. The reason why we can actually sacrifice not running stability and accuracy here is because we have so much weapon handling on this build already that we're okay with putting crit chance here, and this actually allows us to crit more often. We go over to our stats, you'll see we're sitting at 38% crit chance, not bad for a sniper build, 52% crit damage, 301% headshot damage. We have 5% armor damage and 10% damage targets out of cover. So with all that being said, we are putting out an insane amount of damage with this build, even with those knee pads, which are just going to reduce our damage, but allow us to hit 2 enemies with 50% of our damage, which you'll see still hitting for around 20 million, right? So that's what's actually really good with this build. And that is the build right there. You guys can run a Reviver Hive and a Scanner Pulse, really up to you, but that is how I have this set up. So I do run it with the modifiers. The only one you really care about is the overdrive and then possibly microwave coils. Everything else you really don't need. But yeah, overdrive will help you hit, because remember, 30% weapon damage for 10 seconds, 30% skill damage, and 30% rate of fire, unlimited ammo supply. So definitely pretty good to get your Headhunter and everything stacked going a little bit faster than normal. You pair this up and you're doing some crazy amount of numbers with this. I felt that the new knee pads were good for something, and that's how I built around my Turmoil knee pads. Let me know how you set up your builds. What type of build are you making, and have you found any usefulness for them? I think with a build like this where you're already one-shotting, and if you don't want to run a hot shot build, this could be a great way for you guys to do just that. But hopefully you guys enjoy the build. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, Nothing But Skills is out.
Setting up my turret.
Heavily armored hostile detected.
Let's see you run now.
Stay out of BC.
Detecting additional hostile contacts. Reinforcements in place.
Come on, let's do this!
Heavily armored hostile detected.